What is up, geeks and geekettes? It's another episode of the Countdown to the Geekcast. We got another great show for you. My name is Steady, and with me on this episode is the man, the myth, the legend. You know him as JC.
Hey, everybody.
And the man behind the magic, the one and only Joe Garcia. What's going on, Joe?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, I've had a busy week, being a good friend, trying to help my buddy out. He's had nothing but car issues, so we've been having to take his car to the brake check. This is going to be our third or fourth trip in a row, so I have to keep waking up early every morning, like at 7, because we got to drop the car off at 7:15. But I'm a good friend like that. I'm a good friend like that. You need me, I'm there. So I'm like, oh God, dude, you're killing me, Smalls. I want to sleep.
I won't bother you tomorrow, but next morning I got a thing that I need help with. I'll just 6 a.m. I'll give you a call. Don't worry. It's fine. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, if you need me, I'll probably be available. That's how I am.
As I mentioned, we have a fantastic show. We're going to be talking about more geeky weekly updates. We're going to do our follow-up on the Pulse Hasbro virtual event that was fantastic if you're a toy collector. We're also going to be talking about The Boys Episode 6, which, this show is getting crazier and crazier. But first, we're going to get into our geeky weekly updates, and the first one is a pretty big one. It was announced just the other day that the Supergirl CW series is coming to an end. The upcoming 6th season will be the show's last, and the final season will contain 20 episodes and will air sometime next year. Now, lots of speculation, a lot of things are being said, both by fans as well as the network themselves. What do we know? The show has had a gradual decline in viewership since its premiere, which was a huge success, by the way. We also know that Melissa Benoist, the lead actress, the star of the show, who plays Kara Danvers, is also with child. She actually, I think they just had the baby. So her and ex-cast member Christopher Wood, I think they just had a baby this week. And perhaps motherhood is a very valid reason for taking a break from a show that's pretty daunting, because it's such a long series, and there's a lot of effects. It's a lot of shooting. It's a very long series to shoot. So perhaps that's also something that comes into play. We also know that the CW network, as well as DC Comics, has more comic book shows coming out. They just announced the Superman and Lois, Clark and Lois, Superman and Lois. I forget what it's called.
Superman and Lois, yeah, Superman and
Lois show, which is coming out. They've also moved all of the previous DC Universe series either to the CW network or to HBO Max, but they are getting a few of those. And then you have a show like Swamp Thing that's re-airing its first season on the CW network, and fans are crossing their fingers, hoping that this sort of reignites the interest in that show and possibly getting a new series out of that. So just a lot of things kind of going on. This is probably just the right time for both Melissa as well as the showrunners to say, you know what, we've had a great run. 6 seasons isn't anything to laugh at. It's pretty solid for any comic book show nowadays. But let's go around. JC, you've seen a few seasons of this show. What are your thoughts on the show coming to an end?
One, I'm happy they're at least saying this is it. We're going to do a full season, and this is how we're closing it out. If motherhood's the reason, I'm not a mom. I'm a father of 2, but I know that can be pretty demanding.
Sure.
Flying to Vancouver, or even if you're living in Vancouver and just being away from the kids, is crazy. So, but I think I'll try and be binge watching what I'm missing with my daughter. Now she's old enough to fully understand, I think, everything Supergirl goes through, and then try and catch up going into the last season. So she has a big poster of Supergirl in her room. It's the Melissa Supergirl, like the shadow figure. It's pretty damn cool. So we got it for her when the show started, and it's I'm glad they did it. You know, to date we'd only really seen Supergirl on screen in a movie, so um, it's kind of cool. I mean, she gets a proper send off, and it kind of will probably lead in properly to Superman and Lois. I think there's only room for one Kryptonian in each Arrowverse having their own show. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. Joe, how about you,
Mhm.
sir? Your thoughts?
I'll be honest with you. I don't really care either way because I never watched Supergirl to begin with. I wasn't really a fan of the series. To be quite honest, I watched a couple of episodes and then it was kind of just ho hum. It wasn't all that. It didn't really pique my interest, so I just moved on to watching other stuff. So to me, it's like I can see like when you get a fan base and they get behind a series and they fall in love with these characters, it becomes like part of your family, part of your
Yeah.
routine. So I can understand for the folks who really got behind Supergirl and looked forward to watching it and had this connection with the characters, and with the actors. It's something, when your favorite series comes to an end. It's heartbreaking. It's bittersweet. I've kind of felt like that when I was watching Halt and Catch Fire of all things. I really enjoyed that show from watching it from the very beginning all the way to the end. And you feel a certain way when the ending is near. It's bittersweet. It's like
Yeah.
it can never do. Anytime you end a series, it just never does the show justice. You always have the fan base divided. Some enjoy it, some don't. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the same.
I mean, it just depends how it's written.
Yeah.
I think fans are pretty happy with the way Smallville ended. For one, I'm sure Supernatural fans will be happy. Hopefully, the way it ends, that they finally gotten to film the rest of it. It just depends how well it's written. What do they leave open? Do they leave open the possibility of Supergirl appearing in future crossovers, and that sort of thing? I wonder also if this decision was just that there's so much to the Arrowverse, and if some people are just getting exhausted watching so much out there, if that might be part of the decision too. That's a lot to keep up with. To be honest with you.
And
Yeah, I can see that.
I'll just kind of finish up on that. I do hope they leave it somewhat open ended. I'd say I actually really liked the show when it started. I thought it was refreshing. I thought it was innovative, and above all else, it brought you a new version of Superman, and it brought us our best live action Martian Manhunter to date. And it was
Yeah.
such an amazing reveal. And I'm a big Martian Manhunter fan, and so when we got that reveal, my mind was blown. And you should have seen me. I was just like so happy. I was just like, this is a momentous occasion in comic book television history. Getting a live action John Jones Martian Manhunter, and it just took everyone by surprise because of the way they did it. It wasn't comic book origins by any means. So it took everyone by surprise, and it was great. I will say the villains have been the most forgettable out of any of the series, and
Mhm.
I don't know if there's rules for that. Maybe there's reasons why that is, but other shows, even like Legends of Tomorrow, which is bonkers most of the time, but you got some great villains that keep coming back and all that. So Flash, you can't forget those villains. They're all pretty amazing. Arrow kept bringing the same ones back, um, and so they're testing out Stargirl. Gonna be CW network, I think. I can't remember if they pushed that to HBO Max going forward, or which one it's gonna be on. But I'm glad they're doing this at the right time, and hope they leave it open ended. Listen, Constantine had one season, and it was a great season. But Matt Ryan has been back for a number of other shows as well as the animated films. So this probably isn't going to be the end if they do it right and they give her a shot to make a comeback. So
Mhm.
can't wait to see how they play out the final season. I hope it's going to be a good one, and I hope that we get to see a lot more of Melissa in the future.
Yeah, you were
Let's
talking
get the
about
DC
Martian
news
Manhunter, and it
going.
reminded me of that one scene from Superman, Man of Tomorrow. It really
Oh yeah,
got you. You were like, "What?"
really got me, man. Really got me.
Yeah, if you haven't,
Just
if
keep.
anybody hasn't seen, you haven't seen that animated movie, Superman, Man of Tomorrow, you got to watch it. It was really good.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Keep the DC news going. This was another big one. The Black Adam film has found their Hawkman, and it is the actor Aldous Hodge who has been cast as the Hawkman character. Aldous, who is from The Invisible Man, he is from What Men Want. He's from Black Mirror. I've seen him on that. The Blacklist. He also was on the movie Hidden Figures, as well as Straight Outta Compton. He played MC Ren. So big news. I like the actor. I am stoked as long as Dwayne Johnson is excited about all of the casting choices. I'm excited because nobody knows more about this film than Dwayne. And if he thinks all this is right for the job, I'm all for it. JC, how about you?
I'm only really familiar with him from Hidden Figures. He obviously was a supporting character. That was really all about the woman in that movie. But just his look, I mean, he can pull it off. Like I said, I'm not too familiar with what any sort of action movies or any sort of history he has with that. But um, hey, this is a good chance for him to add some up and coming, maybe add to his acting repertoire as well as Hawkman. So
There you go. Joe, how about you, sir?
Interesting choice. I can say that, but a good actor nonetheless, so that's one thing that you're always going to look for. Always going to look for a good actor to be able to portray the character on screen, so I know actors always add a little bit of their own flavor, their own character. So I'd like to see what he actually does with this particular beloved character in Hawkman, so I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. It's something that we have not seen yet in this modern iteration of DC on the big screen,
On the big screen,
on
right?
the big screen.
Exactly.
So I'm excited to see that. I want to see what they're going to do with this particular character with Hawkman.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
I
have.
can't
I've
wait.
also seen him. I should say, in he was in a couple episodes of Supernatural. I think I remember him now. It was like very early on, so he looks a lot older now than he was back then. But then he was also in the Friday Night Lights TV series. He played like a pretty kind of a cocky character from like another team. He was pretty. He can play that part pretty well. So
Well, hell, I
he's
think
got some
everybody
versatility.
from Supernatural's aged at least what 10 years. This
Yeah,
show's been going on for a while.
A good
he was
amount.
part of like the original main arc,
Oh
like
man.
involving Sam and the demon. So I remember him now, and I was like, yeah, that he was pretty crazy character then too, pretty vicious. So
Very nice. I don't know
yeah,
if you guys caught it, but Dwayne Johnson posted the phone conversation of giving Aldous the news, breaking the news to him that he had been cast in
nice.
the movie. If you want to read it for yourself, head on over to our Facebook page at Countdown to the Geekcast. Let's just say it's funny. Aldous thought it was a prank. He was like, "This ain't funny. Who am I talking to? Who is this?" And
It
this
happens
is
a lot now, doesn't it? Everyone doesn't know if
right.
it's real or not.
And Dwayne says, "This is Dwayne. Is this all this?" And the whole time, all this is like, "No, no, no, no. It's a prank. Who is this for real? This ain't funny." So, but he got the news, and he just went absolutely nuts. I can't even imagine how that must have felt to get that news. This is going to be such a huge production. It's going to be such a huge movie. Dwayne Johnson doesn't do anything half-assed. And if he's gonna do a DC Comics movie where he is the lead, you better believe he's gonna go absolutely all out. Think like Hobbs and Shaw, Fast and the Furious 10, and then multiply that by like 100. That's what Black Adam's gonna be. It's gonna be just over the top, big, huge special effects, choreography, the whole nine. I can't wait to see what they come up with, and more casting news. Bring them all out because we're supposed to get like Doctor Fate's going to be in this film. We're going to get all these amazing DC characters, and I just can't wait for it. It's going to be
Same.
awesome.
Should be good.
Yep, it'd be a good one.
All right, so that's DC, and we unfortunately have to get into some negative news.
Uh,
We thought the delays were over, but lo and behold, the delays are back. Black Widow will no longer be released in the year 2020. Black Widow has been delayed until May 7th, 2021. So if you had any sort of hope that Black Widow was going to be a Disney Plus premiere release and you were going to be able to stream it in your home, kiss that goodbye. Unless
Yeah.
something drastic changes, they're Disney and Marvel are going to make sure this is going to be a theatrical release. Also being pushed back, Shang Chi is going to be pushed back to July, and the Eternals has been pushed back to the end of the year of next year, November 2021.
What about an
Um,
Inhumans movie?
yeah,
can't bring that up, man.
Hopefully that'll never see the light of day.
Let's see. Yeah, so let's get your thoughts, gentlemen. Joe, did you see this coming, or did you think maybe they'll release this on Disney Plus?
No, I kind of hoped. I had hopes that they would release it on Disney Plus, but with the lackluster performance of Mulan, I think it all but killed that deal. And
Mm,
here's the sad part though is what if they would have just went ahead and released Black Widow alongside Mulan and they said, "Look, so for instead of paying $30 to watch one movie, you pay something like 45 or $50 and you get to watch both." You know, fans have been clamoring for something right now from the Marvel MCU. And if they would have released Black Widow alongside Mulan, I can guarantee you the sales would have been a lot better than they were just by releasing Mulan by itself. You know,
yeah,
even though it was a really good movie, it was well done. I just think fans were expecting something else, and what they received wasn't exactly what they had intended, but it was a really good movie. You know, if you haven't seen it, I urge you to go see it. But my rationale is if you're going to want to make the most money for, let's say, for streaming a movie of this caliber, and you're at home, it's almost like a drive-in. You know, you're going to want to go and see the double feature. Why not do that in the comfort of your home? Release it as a double feature. That way you feel like you're getting more bang for your buck as a fan. You know, not only are you able to watch The Black Widow, but you're also able to watch Mulan. And if you watched one, more than likely you're going to stay and watch the second one back to back. You know, so if they would have done it that way, we would have seen more and more, you know, movies come out of the MCU available on Disney Plus as that premiere or however they say it, you know, access, premiere access, you know.
yeah.
So I just think that they just made a mistake in the way that they released Mulan. You know, I think if they would have done something a little bit better, it would have translated into more sales. You know, and at the end of the day, the weird thing is Mulan actually did better overseas than it did here in the States. And it made more money in the other markets than it did here in the United States. So that's a head scratcher. You know, why is it so well received in the international markets, but not so much here in the United States? There was some, I believe, marketing issues that they needed to have gotten resolved or gotten correct prior to them releasing Mulan, because you didn't really hear a lot about it. There wasn't really a lot of TV segments. They were kind of sparsely placed out, and you didn't really know a lot about the movie for its release. And I think that was where Disney kind of, in a nutshell, shit the bed. You know, so that was their marketing department's fault.
JC, movie theaters have been very slowly opening up, and movies like Tenet have had little success around the world. So maybe
right.
Disney just decided things are getting better. Let's take our chance, hold off until we can get an actual big release, or at least like half of a big release. And maybe that's what
Mhm.
Disney's waiting for.
Probably. I mean, with all the MCU films, there's very low chance these were going to get a Disney Plus release. They put a lot of money into them. They want the full theatrical release. And really, all this did is just push everything back a 1 year timeline. I mean, the original release date was May of 2020. Now it's May 2021. What can you do?
You hate to
Um,
see it.
I hate
Can
to
we
see it
just
was
fast forward
expected.
2020?
Exactly. I mean,
Please.
honestly,
Please.
right now, if you're putting out a movie in 2020, it might get forgotten. I
Yeah.
mean, does anybody know what movies came out in January and February this year before we all kind of went into lockdown?
No,
What was the
What?
last movie you saw in a theater?
Was it Birds of Prey?
we
Was that
Birds
saw
of Prey
February?
was in
we
January,
saw
yeah.
Birds of Prey. I remember I
February?
was there with Steady and everybody. I was there with my
Yeah, I
daughter
was
for
there
that
too.
premiere. Yeah.
That
Well,
might
what
have
was the
been
last?
one of
Was
the
that the
last
last
ones.
movie you saw in theaters?
I think so.
Yeah,
No.
literally the last Friday before everything got locked down. My wife and I had a date night. We went to go see The Way Back, which was Ben Affleck's movie about a guy
Oh
with
yeah.
alcoholism going and
Yeah.
returning, and he was just recovering from it himself. So it was pretty cool to see that. But Disney's they want to make the money. Honestly, all this going on has really made me wish drive-ins were still open. I went to drive-ins as a kid. I wish they had never gone away because if drive-in movies were still a thing, we wouldn't have had all these postponements. It would have been a lot easier to have social distancing. People can drive up, watch a movie, drive out. This would have been the perfect time for Mission Drive-In to still be open and still doing well.
Well, they are going to
So
open one, but it's going to be a smaller venue. It's still on
Yeah.
the south
yeah,
side, but it's not the same in that
it's
historic
it's
place, the theater.
yeah,
Mission.
it's not the same.
Yeah.
Getting to drive to one movie and sneak on over to another, right? But
Or standing on top of your car and you can take a sneak peek at the
exactly.
other
Well,
movie.
the classic Grease scene where you hide all your friends in the trunk, and then that way you pay one admission, and then they all
Yep.
sneak out when they get in, right?
Yes, sir.
As
Boom.
far as the Mulan release, I think the price point was too high. The news came out that 3 months later it was going to be on Disney Plus for free anyway. I think it did well internationally versus here for that reason, and also because we know how to pirate movies better in the U.S. And there was always the
BitTorrent.
there was always the controversy around Yifei Li's Hong Kong comments months ago when this was originally going to come out, and everyone makes a big deal about that. And I don't have a stance either way. I don't live in China. I live in Hong Kong. That's something they deal with. She's from China, but that kind of stuff maybe attributed to it as well. So, but we talked about Mulan before, but I think Disney just wants to make all the money it can on the MCU films, and they're counting on The Mandalorian and WandaVision to hold people off until then. So
There you go.
Yeah. Disappointed, that Mulan didn't do better and that we didn't get to see the Black Widow on the Disney Premiere service, but we're gonna have to wait another year, and hopefully the wait is worth it because I've heard a lot of things behind the scenes, little rumors here and there, and I'm sure everybody else has that Black Widow is actually a really decent movie. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be fun
oh
to
yeah,
watch, and you're gonna see some new characters in this. So I think that to Marvel fans fits the bill, checks all the boxes for everything you want out of a decent, really well done MCU movie.
I'm excited to see Florence Pugh in this. Loved
Yeah.
her in Fighting with My Family, where she played Paige. I think she's awesome. So I'm really excited to see her. She actually was just in a little Netflix short where they did Father of the Bride Part 3, sort of. So it was, if you're a fan of the first two Father of the Bride movies, it's definitely worth the watch. It's about 20 minutes, and it's a pretty cool way that they filmed it. Zoom meetings and everything like that, but it was really cool. It was pretty cool. They brought a lot of the old cast back and everything.
Yeah,
So.
I'm not a fan of the movie, but my daughter makes me watch them with her, and I'm also not a fan of Say Yes to the Dress. And unfortunately, she wants me to sit down and watch it. And I'm like, I love you, but sports is
Yeah.
on, so
It's football season.
it's football
Yeah.
season exactly.
I guess I got that to look forward to. I don't have that issue right now. Right
Oh
now,
man,
it's
wait
just,
till she.
Oh,
If
give
you
it
have a
time, give
daughter,
it
man,
time.
wait till she turns 16, 15 years old. Dad, come over
right
here and
now
watch
it's
this
good
with
because
me.
it's just Coco on a loop. So I'm like,
Oh.
Yeah.
sold. I'm there.
Yeah, man.
My daughter's
Hopefully
ready
you
to
never
watch
get.
Titans with me. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
hopefully
it.
you never have to watch Say Yes to the Dress, man.
I refuse.
I'll make sure I get her into Batman the Animated Series as soon as I can. Coming up
Yeah.
next, we're gonna go through these next topics a little bit a little bit quicker, a little bit of a rapid fire, if you will. James Gunn announced just the other day that Suicide Squad cast member John Cena, you can't see me, is getting his own spin off HBO Max series. Cena, who plays the Peacemaker on the upcoming The Suicide Squad movie, is getting his own series, and James Gunn is super excited to be producing this. I can't wait because from what we heard from John Cena in the behind the scenes featurette about his character, it seems like it's just going to be another Doom Patrol, sort of along the lines of The Boys, which we're going to be talking about here in a little bit. A lot of comedy, a lot of absurdity, and a lot of action. And James Gunn, I would put his name up against absolutely anyone else as far as directors go when it comes to producing a movie or a TV show. So I cannot wait to see what this turns into. And then from the man himself, John Cena, he says working alongside James Gunn on the Suicide Squad was an absolute masterclass in how to best bring beloved characters to life in a new and fun way. I cannot wait for the DC universe to experience more of absurdity that is the Peacemaker in this new project on HBO Max. JC,
Yes.
your thoughts?
Douchebag Captain America gets his own TV series. I'm sold. That's all I need to
Yeah.
say. That's it.
Right?
Yep.
I'm good.
That's
I'm
it.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Mhm.
Joe, you're excited as well, correct?
Yeah, I'm excited about this. You know, and I think JC John Cena is so excited about this character because you hit the nail right on the head. It's kind of like the Captain America version of Deadpool, you know,
Yeah.
Peacemaker.
Pretty much.
And
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
what is the character that John Cena always portrays, you know, in the WWE? You know, this.
Well, this good guy persona, you know, it's thugonomics Cena. If he freestyle raps on somebody as a superhero, I'm gonna lose it.
That's going to
But
be
this
great.
thugonomics Cena kind of thing was what I was always my favorite. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is a different role. I mean,
I think it's really interesting and fun for him because he kind of breaks the mold and gets to do the
Yeah.
total opposite spectrum of what he's been doing for years. You know?
yes, I mean the roles where he was so different, like Trainwreck, he was
Yeah.
hilarious. There was a movie with Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, sisters or something. I can't remember what it was, but he plays like a drug dealer, and he was so hilarious. And then, of course, in Blockers as a overprotective father. I mean, he can play these roles. He can be hilarious. And now you put him in comedy, action. This is like the perfect fit.
Yeah, I think so
He-
too. Because
He needs to be in more comedies as a lead, and I want to say he doesn't, or he's probably not had that opportunity yet. And
Yeah.
Not fully. Yeah, not
not
fully.
fully,
Well,
exactly.
unless you consider Blockers like a lead role for him, he kind of had that. Because all the parents kind of shared the lead, but yeah. So he
He's
had
going to
that
have a
role.
lot more free reign with this one, and
Mhm.
he is absolutely hysterical. And I say that because at the Bumblebee panel at San Diego Comic-Con 2018, which feels like forever ago, he was the absolute funniest panel star of the entire
he has a lot of
weekend.
energy. A lot of
Yes.
He
energy.
has tons of energy, but his timing, his quick-witted humor, he was just laying it all out there. And it was the first time I had seen John Cena not as the wrestler, not as a character in a movie, but just him
Himself.
just
Yeah.
going off on a tangent on his own, and he's just so damn entertaining and hilarious. So I cannot wait to see what he does with this role and does with this series. I'm going to skip on over to a quick story on the boys, and then we're going to get into the actual boys.
Well, I wanted to come
Episode
back
6.
real quick to John Cena because I know JC, you remember this one part of when The Rock came in back to the WWE,
And he called him
made
out
it-
on
called
yeah.
him out on Raw, dude. I was rolling.
writing a script on his
Yes,
arm,
'cause
and
he-
that was the scene that we wanted. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and the thing was that The Rock too called him out, and he
sorry,
says,
Steady Wrestling Talk.
he
I
said,
didn't
what did
start
he
this
ask him?
time.
He's like, what? Who are you? And he tried to
Yeah.
say his name, and he goes, "It doesn't matter what your name is." And John Cena was in the middle of the ring laughing, and then he told him, "Look at you, you over here looking like a Power Ranger. You're part of the Fruit Loop Troop or something
Yeah.
like that, dude."
Ooh.
He had me rolling. It was hilarious, man. But
It
John
was
Cena is a
good.
character.
Seen as a character, yeah. It's gonna be good. Can't
Yeah.
wait.
Cannot wait. Finally, The Boys is getting a spin-off series. The spin-off series, per Variety, is set at America's only college exclusively for young adult superheroes that is run by Vought International. We all know Vought. It is described as an irreverent R-rated series that explores the lives of hormonal, competitive soups as they put their physical, sexual, and moral boundaries to the test, competing for the
Wow.
best contracts in the best cities. Part college show, part Hunger Games, with all the heart, satire, and raunch of The Boys. Joe, since you're the only one besides me who watches The Boys on the show, are you excited to see what a spin off series could look like featuring younger soups from this universe?
Interesting, but I think I've already seen something like that. It's called My Hero Academia. So I
Yeah.
watched that with my kids too. Um, it just sounds like a different spin on it, but basically at the core, it's almost what they're doing in My Hero Academia, except that I'm sure there's going to be a lot more raunchiness to it, because it is a spin off of The Boys, and that's what it's known for.
That's what it's supposed to
So,
be.
of course, it's going to be an adult fused, four-letter F word tirade, comedy thrown in there with a lot of gore. If it's
Yes, we
anything
hope
like
so.
if it's
Yeah.
anything like The Boys, it's going to be much watched TV. So I'm
For
excited about this and the direction they're going. To me, is it's a fresh take on this. Because we already saw what they've done with The Boys in season 1 and with season 2 here coming to an end shortly. So getting something that's different, a new influx of supers, and them kind of going at each other. I'm for it, man. I think it's going to be very entertaining, and I think they're going to be a lot more flamboyant than this current iteration of soups that we're seeing right now in The Boys. So I think it's just going to be far out of left field, hilarious, funny, gory, everything that I want to see.
I have so many thoughts about this. My first thought was Charles Xavier's School for the Gifted, but the Deadpool years.
Yeah.
Like, add the comedy, add the raunch, add the absurdity, because above all else, you need that unexpectedness that the Boys
So,
provides.
so Umbrella Academy, but raunchier, basically.
Yeah, a lot more raunchier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
And
need
this
to
is
watch The Boys. If you didn't watch this last episode, wow, JC, you missed out on a really raunchy part that I think you would have gotten a kick out of, man. Because I know you have
It was
that
a
dark humor.
historical moment in television. Let's just
Mhm.
put it
You
that
know,
way.
I watch a lot of reality TV, so I agree. I enjoy the raunchy stuff. So yeah, I'll probably try and catch up and check it out as soon as
Yeah,
I
you,
can.
you would
So
probably would have died laughing, dude. You
yeah,
would have been like, "Oh my god!"
Your reality TV has nothing on what just happened in the last
Yeah.
episode.
there's some pretty crazy reality TV out there.
Oh,
Trust me.
this is a
So.
first. I doubt if anybody's
Yeah, okay.
This is a
seen
first
this.
in television history. And let's go ahead and get into episode 6 of The Boys. Spoiler alert for anybody else other than JC who doesn't mind it at all.
It's okay.
Quick
I'll catch
summary
up.
of the episode: Trouble in Paradise for Homelander and Stormfront, as the trust
AKA
issues are
Liberty.
aka Liberty, as the trust issues are beginning to unfold. The team, let's call them the Spice Girls. The Spice Girls team visits the loony bin. Elena learns of the truth about the flight that had crashed from Maeve and Homelander. And
Oh
then
yeah.
finally, we meet an ex member of the Seven known as Lamplighter. Joe, I know you had some issues with how slow the first few episodes of The Boys were. Is episode 6 one of your favorites so far?
It had a lot of action in it, so it kind of
Yeah.
made up for it. But I still want to see somebody get killed off. That hasn't happened
Ooh.
yet.
All
To
right.
to my dismay, I want to be shocked. I want to be awed. I want to be like, oh, I can't believe that character they just did that to him, and then just leave it on a cliffhanger for the next season. Is he really dead? But I gotta say, I like the direction that they went with this episode. It kind of again puts our heroes in a precarious situation now where they're going in there to try to steal information, so they make it in with the help of Starlight. She kind of cuts a hole in the fence, and Mother's Milk, and what's her name, the other girl?
Um,
I forget
don't
her
put me
name.
on Spotlight. Starlight.
No, not Starlight. The Asian.
Kimiko.
Yes, she went in there as backup. So they go in there with Frenchie, and they go and they make it all the way to the server room. Where they have the server blades and all that, and all hell breaks loose. Because Frenchie and Lamplighter kind of have a history, so they are passing each other in the hallway, and they give each other a glance, and right away Frenchie jumps out of the bed, and Lamplighter's already getting his little lighter ready so he can start burning everybody. And oops, they make a
Oops.
mistake, and they knock down the wrong door. And
Oh yeah.
this one mutant comes out of there, and she's like just mad at the world, and she can just pop people like a balloon, and they're just all
Yeah.
scared of her. And even Lamplighter's like, remember that extra, what do you say? Remember that
Candy
extra
bar or
craft or
something that you'd
something? Yeah, that I
given her.
put
Yeah.
in your
I
box or
helped you
whatever.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this episode because we haven't got too much of a backstory on these characters, and this episode was all about the history of some people.
Yeah, Frenchie and
Lamplighter,
Lamplighter.
who was a part of the Seven at one point,
Yeah.
tried to take a hit out on Grace Mallory, who is with government agency CIA, I believe,
Yeah.
and in the process ended up killing her kids in a house fire. From what I'm kind of taking from all of this, so failed hit attempt, ends up killing kids, and he's living with this shame for the rest of his life. Grace couldn't pull the trigger when it came to actually taking revenge out on him, and that's going to lead to something else. And I have no idea where that's going to go. I think they're going to use Lamplighter in their plan, but I don't know how that's going to work out. So I'm eager to see how that turns out. And then the other backstory that we got was finally Stormfront is the wife of Frederick Vought. She's the absolute first successful human test of Compound V, and she's basically 100 years old because she was born in 1919, and she is the very first, call it what you will, mutant, superpowered individual, whatever you want. She's the absolute first. It looks like her and Homelander have rekindled their relationship, but I still think there's an angle she's playing at that has not been revealed, and I'm eager to see what that is.
Oh, she's setting
And
him up for something. You can see it coming a mile away. And I had already kind of alluded to her. I thought my theory was that she was one of the first soup created, and that my assumption was correct in that regards.
there you go.
But she's setting everybody up for something. She's going to come out. I think this season of The Boys is going to end on a cliffhanger, and she's going to wow everybody with something. She's got a plan up her sleeve, and she's playing it to perfection right now. She's got everybody right where she wants them,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, hey, man,
Um,
Huey, we forgot to talk about Huey. Huey is in some trouble right now, Steady.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Huey, who I didn't think he took that big of a hit when it first happened, walks out of the van after it got tossed in the air, and he's been impaled by like a metal piece of something.
I think it was a piece of the car or something, the piece of the van.
I think you're right. It looks like he's going to be okay, but I'm wondering if both Butcher and Starlight are starting to think that they are just bad influences on Huey's life, that he doesn't deserve to go through any of this. He's already lost someone in his life. And I'm wondering if now Starlight and Butcher are going to come to an agreement to keep Huey safe, or attempt to keep Huey safe. And whenever somebody tries to keep someone safe in a comic book story like Peter Parker, sometimes Gwen takes a tumble, and that's what happens. So that's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out. What do you think?
I think it's in the sick and twisted world of The Boys. I think either one of them would probably say, we can't keep him safe, so we can't keep him safe. maybe
Yeah.
somebody will off him, because of the
Ooh.
way they think. You know what I mean? Their rationale, it's a bit extreme at sometimes, and they don't, they're just very controlled by emotion. So if they
Yeah.
just feel like killing somebody at a certain point in time, they're just going to do it. Starlight killed that dad that stopped for her, and she didn't mean to, but she still did it. She didn't even shed a tear. She was telling she's turning into Butcher, where you're already done and seen these bad things happen enough times where you've just become immune to it. She's already gone down that path, I think, of no return, where her character is going down a dark path already, and something's gonna happen. She's already playing the games with everybody else that some of the other characters who have been around for a while play. The extortion, the blackmail. Hey, I know this secret about you. If you don't want anybody to know, you better do what I want. She's already done that, and now she's killing people. It's a far cry from where she started in season 1, and now she's right on par with Butcher. And like you said, they're realizing that Huey is getting hurt because of their actions or just being around them per se. So I think something's going to happen probably in this next episode where, again, something to the extreme. Maybe they just tell him, you know what, you're out. We'll see you later, bud.
Yeah, and he can't stop them.
Yeah.
Starlight can pretty much, he makes a decision.
She can
He's gonna
microwave
make
him
her
right
way
there
to
on
the
the
highway.
spot, man.
Yeah. And the other thing I'm really looking forward to seeing how it plays out is the relationship between Maeve and Elena. Now that Elena has seen the worst parts
Her
of the
secret.
Seven, is that going to be a deal breaker? Is this the point where Elena says, "You're either out or I walk"? And if Maeve says, "The only way for me to get out is to take the whole damn thing down," then that might push Maeve to go up against Homelander and or Stormfront as well.
But you see
So,
where this is going.
oh
Stormfront
yeah,
has been starting this propaganda since she got there.
right.
A coup is coming. It's coming. It
A
started
coup is
already.
coming.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's interesting, and we can't leave the episode without talking about the wildest part
Mm.
of it. Mother's Milk was getting strangled by what we
Cover your
thought
ears,
was some
JC.
sort of what
I'm
we
good.
thought
I'm
was some
good.
sort of 40-foot tentacle end up being some dude's Johnson.
It
So
was his junk.
yeah, that's a thing. That's a superpower, I suppose.
Yep.
What was how
That
crazy
they
was
gave
that
him.
moment?
I guess they gave him that compound V, and it affects people differently. And
Yeah,
unfortunately for this poor son of a bitch, he didn't get any superpowers, but that wasn't a tentacle wrapped around Mother's Milk's neck.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely crazy. I was laughing so hard when all that happened and when it went down, and the memes and the comments after the episode had aired. Oh my god,
And the dude
absolutely
was
hysterical.
asleep, or he was knocked out or something, wasn't he? He was just laying down on the ground.
Yeah,
So
I think they took him out. I don't think he's coming back.
no, I don't think he is. But that was just like wow, you
Even
know.
the soup that spits acid, that was even a cool kill. They had knocked him over and he had splashed him on his face and it just immediately melted
Melted
his skull.
himself.
So I'm just like, oh man, this episode is no joke.
Yeah. It
So it
kind of
got
went
real.
reminiscent when he melted himself of an alien from the movie Aliens.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. No, exactly. So, episode 6, what did you think about it? The viewers, the listeners out there, we want to hear from you guys. Be sure to send us a message on Facebook by just clicking the send message button, or you could also email us on the contact page of our website at www.countdowncitygeekcast.com. what was your favorite moment? Was it Acid Guy or was it Tentacle Man? We want to hear from you guys. Let us know what you thought.
Sounds like a Japanese hentai.
That's exactly what I thought I was watching there for a second, by the way.
There was only one tentacle, JC.
Sometimes you only need one.
Oh,
right.
man. The show took a turn now. This is the Countdown City Geekcast After Dark.
It is pretty late. So
The Boys is getting more and more crazy, and I'm all for it. Cannot wait to see how this second season ends, and it's already been renewed for a third. So Amazon is now, thrilled by it. Can't wait to see where they go from here.
I am excited to see Utopia. I'm going to take a look at that over the weekend. Maybe you can take a quick peek at an episode or two when we come back and talk about it for the next episode. Steady.
Jericho's all about it.
Yeah.
Geekcaster Jericho is all about it, and he's been telling me to watch it. So I told him, yeah, that's what's coming up.
Yeah, and you know what else you need to watch? Do you want to say it, JC, or should I?
I could say it this time. His Dark Materials.
Season 2 is coming around the corner.
Right
November.
after Jericho's request of Utopia.
Yeah, that's cool.
Coming up soon. For the Countdown City Geekcast, my name is Steady. With me on this episode is the man, the myth, the legend. You know him as JC.
Thanks for listening and watching, and stay tuned to the WrestleCast this week. It's going to be a fun episode. So
yeah, if you all haven't seen the WrestleCast, I highly recommend you watch it. It's fun as hell, man. It's funny. And Tommy, man, Tommy brings it, dude. He has that energy, dude.
Tommy did something very special for me not this past weekend, the weekend before, and I talked all about it on the WrestleCast. It was really cool. I got Big Swole, one of my favorite wrestlers in the world right now, to send a special message because, like me, she's also has Crohn's disease, and I've been a big fan of hers. So he met her over the weekend, sent me a really nice message, and I got a little emotional talking about it in the last WrestleCast. So if you want to see me tear up and lose it for a little bit, there you go. But yeah, it was really cool. So
cool.
Check it out.
And we also got the man behind the magic, the one and only Joe Garcia.
Yeah, so another good sports weekend coming up. Gonna be watching. Hopefully the Cowboys fare better, than their 1-2 record.
3-0. 3-0.
Titans are doing great. Who would have thought they would have started the season 3-0?
I thought so.
Oh yeah,
good game this weekend though against Pittsburgh though.
They had a good season. They had a good season last in their prior season. The Titans did. So coming into this season, the expectations were high, and they've lived up to the hype so far. So congratulations to your team, man. They're looking good.
Thanks.
Unfortunately,
it's gonna be a tough test this week.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Cowboys, it's a tough test every week, JC. So pour
unless
some
you're
out
playing
for
the
Cowboy
Falcons,
fans.
because you just ask the Bears, because good God, I feel sorry for Atlanta Falcons fans right now.
The axe is coming down pretty soon. You got to get rid of Matt Ryan, or you got to get rid of the coach. You got to clean house in Atlanta. Because sorry,
we just turned into a sports cast, Steady. We have to just start it at some point. Just hit record and see what happens.
Yeah, we need a clean house there.
Later.
See you next week.
Yep. See y'all later.
AJ and Ivan here. For more Geekcast episodes, subscribe to us on your podcast app and please write us a review. Be sure to like us at Facebook at facebook.com/CountdownCityGeekcast. Follow us on Twitter at ccg_podcast or visit our website at www.countdowncitygeekcast.com. See you later, guys.